All right, guys, here we go. This is a recording of a recording, and right now, they're walking up to the podium. So we shall see here in the next few minutes.
Thank you all for coming. I first want to start by expressing my condolences to Deputy Philip Campus, an officer who was selfishly serving his community in Kern County, who was killed in the line of duty on Sunday. He is a father, a husband, a Kern County Sheriff officer, and a former Marine. 3 others were shot in the standoff as well. Our prayers are with his family and those who were wounded as they continue to break through this. Each of us are indebted to our brave Capitol Police officers who come every day to this house prepared to defend us. On January 6th, these brave officers were put into a vulnerable and impossible position because of the leadership at the top has failed. December 14th, the leadership knew there was a problem. Even prior to that, Inspector General report told us there was failed leadership at the top of the police for the training. Rodney Davis will speak in a moment.
Let me just stop it right there, guys. Let me just stop it right there. December 14th, they knew there was going to be a problem, and they didn't do anything about it. Come on, that just ain't right.
A bill that he had to make sure the structure of the Capitol Police would change. We had many failures within the leadership. You had a chair of House administration with responsibility that did not come to the Capitol for more than 6 months. First time showing back up on January 3rd to vote for the Speaker. No hearings about the IG report. No movement of Rodney Davis's bill. There's questions into the leadership within the structure of the Speaker's office, where they denied the ability to bring the National Guard here.
And guys, they're talking about Democratic Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi. Okay? Democratic Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi.
We now have a committee that all of America wants to know the answers to. Why were we ill prepared for that day, and how can we make sure that it will never happen again? But unfortunately, Speaker Pelosi will only pick on people onto the committee that will ask the questions she wants asked. That becomes a failed committee and a failed report, a sham that no one can believe. If you want the true answers, do not be afraid of the questions that will get asked. And drive the evidence to wherever it comes forward. We owe it to the officers, we owe it to the nation, to have an open and fair debate with all questions being asked. Again, the Republicans want to participate with the Republicans that are able to be on the committee, that have jurisdiction, have the knowledge, and the ability to ask the tough questions that can get the right answers. It's unfortunate we start with a committee chair who will tell you everything's on the table except the Speaker's office. How can you ever get to the bottom of the questions? How can you ever get to the solutions to make sure the Capitol is never put in this position again? From December 14th, they knew. The last time there was a break in the line was during the Kavanaugh hearings. Why weren't changes made then? Why weren't action taken after the IG report? It's a lot of questions that could get asked today to make sure these officers will never be put in this position. January 6th should have never happened. Should have prepared or be prepared for the officers. Make sure they had the training and the equipment that they needed. With that, I'd like to call up our whip, Steve Scalise.
Thank you, Kevin, and I share those same sentiments. Our prayers go out to so many law enforcement officers who lost their lives in the last year. And every day, we thank those Capitol Police officers who risk their lives to keep us safe and to keep this Capitol hopefully open again to tourists who can come to the Capitol to see their government in action. But what we're here to talk about today is Speaker Pelosi's constant attempt to cover up facts that she doesn't want out there. You know, for weeks now, Jim Jordan and Jim Banks have been raising some very tough questions that need to be answered about why Speaker Pelosi didn't make sure that Capitol Police had all the tools they needed to be prepared for that day. Now, maybe because they were raising those questions, they got canceled by this new cancel culture that we see moving throughout the country, led by Speaker Pelosi and a lot of our socialist allies here in Congress, where they want to shut out voices that raise tough questions that they don't want to be asked or answered. And yet, they were starting to raise those questions about why the Capitol Police didn't have the tools they needed. What kind of intelligence did Speaker Pelosi get early off, weeks in advance, as Leader McCarthy talked about, that gave telltale signals that could have prevented what happened on January 6th? But Speaker Pelosi said that she doesn't want those questions asked, so she kicked them off the committee. She took an unprecedented step of refusing to allow members to be appointed by the minority leader to a select committee. Had never before happened in the history of Congress. And so as we see these kind of actions taken by Speaker Pelosi to cover up the facts that she doesn't want out there, it has completely debased the legitimacy of this commission, because clearly they're not searching for the truth. They're searching to get a narrative out that Speaker Pelosi has already written. And anybody that's going to ask questions that go against that, she just has them removed so that they can't bring those questions up. That's not an investigative panel. People know that. We've seen other bodies. The Senate's done some investigative work. The Department of Justice has done some investigative work. And it should be about following the facts, not about trying to cover up facts that tell a story differently than the one she maybe has already had written, and she just wants to now get others to back it up.
I bleed blue as far as political stuff goes. I bleed a thin blue line. And when Eric Talley, the police officer here in Denver, or the Denver area, was shot and killed, and the lack of outcry then from Speaker Pelosi, that just says it all. Hey guys, I'm going to end the live feed here. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and just forgive this. I'm getting off a med withdrawal. Please don't forget to hit the notification bell on your way out so you never miss an upload. Thank you much.